Have you ever sat back and wondered, where did the time go? 1 minute, you're raising kids, chasing careers, making plans. The next, you're looking at retirement brochures and wondering how to make these later years count. I'm in my 60s now, and let me tell you, I've seen enough to know that growing older isn't just about counting birthdays. It's about asking yourself a bigger question. Am I really living, or just getting by? You see, most people in the US live to about 79, that's the average. But what if I told you there's more to the story? That there are people in their 80s, 90s, even past 100, who aren't just alive, they're thriving, they're sharp, they're active. They have purpose. What's their secret? It's not always in a pill or a perfect diet. It's in the way they live, the choices they make, the mindset they carry. This video is all about that 5 powerful lessons I wish I had learned earlier. Lessons that could help you not only live longer, but live better. More energy, more joy, more connection, and most of all, more meaning. Now, I know some of you watching may be feeling tired, maybe even discouraged. Maybe you've lost someone you loved, or your health isn't what it used to be. Believe me, I've been there. But let me remind you of something important. It's never too late. Not to feel better, not to learn something new, not to find your reason for getting up in the morning. So, if you're with me, stick around. You might just hear something today that lights a spark in you, something that helps you turn the page and write the best chapter yet. And if this already sounds like something you need, go ahead and comment below with the word ready. Let's grow stronger together. One day at a time. Part 1. Stay curious. Alright, let's talk about the first big key I've really come to believe in, something that truly keeps us vibrant. Stay curious. Never stop learning. You know, it's that little spark inside, that genuine interest in things, that really keeps us feeling alive and engaged. No matter how many candles were on our last birthday cake. Have you ever met someone, maybe well into their later years, whose eyes just absolutely light up when they talk about something they're passionate about? Perhaps it's a new hobby they've picked up, a subject they're diving into, or even just figuring out how something works. That energy, that enthusiasm, it's not just charming, it's powerful. It's proof that keeping our minds active truly keeps our spirits young. I think when we lose that desire to ask why, or explore something new, life can start to feel a bit, well, gray, stagnant, maybe. But a mind that stays curious, that stays hungry to understand, it has this amazing way of helping us feel more resilient, more ready for whatever comes next. Think about someone like old Ben Franklin. Picture him in his 70s. Most folks would have been well into retirement, but he was still fascinated by the world, wasn't he? Tinkering with the electricity, figuring things out. That drive kept him sharp and involved. Or there's that incredible story of Nola Oakes. Goodness, getting her college degree when she was 95. Can you imagine? It just goes to show, there's absolutely no age limit on learning and growing. And here's the lovely part, our brains thrive on this. Learning new things, whether it's figuring out a puzzle, reading about history, or trying a new language app, it helps keep those connections in our brain active and strong. The science backs it up. It really can help keep our minds clearer for longer. But listen, it doesn't have to be about getting degrees or anything formal like that. It's more about just nurturing that sense of wonder. Ask questions. Pick up a book on a topic you know nothing about. Watch a documentary that makes you think. Have a chat with someone who sees the world differently. Every little discovery, no matter how small, adds fuel to that inner fire. Honestly, I find that staying curious just makes life more interesting. It turns ordinary days into chances to learn something new, and it helps us roll with life's changes a bit more easily. So, let's make a pact with ourselves, shall we? Let's keep asking questions, keep exploring ideas, and keep that wonderful curiosity alive and kicking. How does that feel for the first part? Let me know when you're ready to send the next section you'd like me to look at. Part 2. Move like your life depends on it. Alright, the second big piece of wisdom, and it's one our bodies remind us of constantly: move like your life depends on it. Because, in so many ways, it truly does. It's fundamental to feeling energetic, capable, and maintaining that precious independence we all cherish. So, let's find ways we enjoy moving and make it a regular part of our lives, shall we? It makes such a difference. You know that feeling when you've been sitting too long. Everything feels a bit stiff. Maybe energy levels dip. Well, our bodies are simply made to move. When we let ourselves become sedentary, especially as the years go by, things naturally start to, well, decline a bit. Muscles can weaken, joints might get stiffer, and even our balance might not be quite as reliable. But here's the wonderful news. Staying active doesn't have to mean running marathons, unless that's your cup of tea, of course. It's about consistently choosing movement. Think about how good a simple walk feels, or spending time in the garden, maybe doing some gentle stretching, or even just putting on some music and dancing around the living room. Every bit of movement helps keep our joints working better, our muscles strong enough to support us, our heart healthy, and it plays a huge role in staying steady on our feet. And goodness, you see these incredible examples out there, don't you? Think about that amazing gymnast from Germany, Johanna Quas, still actively competing, doing parallel bars and floor routines well into her 90s. It's just astounding, and truly shows what keeping your body moving can do for strength, flexibility, and balance. Part 3. Stay connected. US example. Now for our third vital lesson, and this one truly warms the heart and nourishes the soul. Stay connected. We all know that feeling, right? Loneliness can sometimes creep in, maybe as our life circumstances change over the years. But actively nurturing our bonds with others, fighting off that isolation, oh, it's just fundamental to our well-being, mind, body, and spirit. The experts agree, too, having strong social connections isn't just a nice to have. Study after study shows it's deeply linked to living longer, healthier, and happier lives. It truly matters. And while examples from far-off places are interesting, there are powerful illustrations right here closer to home that really drive this point home. Maybe you've heard the fascinating story of Roseto, a small town in Pennsylvania, primarily settled by immigrants from the same village in Italy. Decades ago, back in the 50s and 60s, researchers were absolutely baffled by Roseto. Why? Because the people there had incredibly low rates of heart attacks compared to surrounding communities, even though their diet wasn't what we'd call heart healthy today. They enjoyed their sausage, their cheese, they cooked with lard. Things that doctors expected would cause problems. So, what was protecting them? After ruling out genetics and other factors, the researchers discovered it was the town's extraordinarily tight-knit social fabric. Imagine this: multiple generations of families often lived under the same roof or right next door. People were constantly in and out of each other's houses. Evenings were spent chatting on porches. Community celebrations and church events were central to life. There was this incredible sense of cohesion, mutual support, and belonging. No one really felt alone or destitute. If someone faced hardship, the community rallied. It was understood that they belonged to each other. This phenomenon became known as the Roseto effect. It became a classic example showing how powerful those close community bonds, that deep sense of connection and mutual support, can be for our health, acting almost like a protective shield against stress and disease. It truly highlighted that how we live together is just as important, if not more so, than some other lifestyle factors. So, the beautiful lesson for us today is clear. We need to intentionally cultivate our connections, create our own Roseto effect right where we are, Nurture those family ties. Pick up the phone and call that old friend. Make time for coffee with neighbors. Join a club. Volunteer. Get involved in a community group. Build and cherish that circle of support. It makes all the difference in feeling vital and truly living well. Part 4. Eat like your future depends on it. Alright. Our fourth key lesson is one we practice multiple times a day. Whether we think about it or not, eating well, really, eating like our future depends on it. You know, maybe you've noticed this too, but I certainly find that what I eat seems to affect my energy levels and just how I feel overall much more noticeably these days. It feels like our bodies become a bit more sensitive guides. Put simply, fueling ourselves with good, wholesome foods, plenty of colorful fruits and vegetables, lean proteins, good fats like olive oil or nuts, whole grains, it just helps everything function better. It provides the building blocks our bodies need to repair themselves, stay strong, and keep our minds sharp. On the flip side, relying too heavily on highly processed foods, sugary snacks and drinks, or lots of unhealthy fats tends to drag us down over time and can unfortunately contribute to many of those health issues we become more prone to. Getting enough protein is especially important now to help maintain muscle strength, and good fiber from plants keeps our digestion running smoothly, both key for feeling energetic and well. I definitely feel the difference myself. If I have a nice piece of fish with some roasted vegetables for dinner, I wake up feeling much better than if I had, say, a heavy, greasy meal. It's quite noticeable, and think about people we know. Maybe you have a friend like my neighbor, Alice. She has a wonderful little garden and eats fresh vegetables from it all summer long, and honestly, she just seems to radiate energy. It makes you wonder about that connection, doesn't it? Or, be it sharing meals. My longtime friend Joan and I try to get together for simple, healthy lunches sometimes. We share recipes, enjoy the company, and always leave feeling good. It doesn't mean we never indulge, of course. Life's too short not to enjoy a treat now and then. But perhaps it's the daily choices, reaching for fruit instead of a pastry, adding a handful of spinach to your eggs, choosing grilled over fried, or just paying attention to our bodies and stopping when we feel comfortably satisfied, not overly stuffed. Those small, consistent choices really do seem to add up to feeling more vibrant and healthy day to day. Part 5. Find purpose. And now for our fifth and final lesson. And perhaps it's the one that ties everything together. Find your purpose. Discover your reason for waking up eager each morning. Now, when I say purpose, I don't necessarily mean some grand, world-changing mission, unless that calls to you. It's more personal than that. It's about knowing what gives your life meaning and value to you. What makes you feel that your time here matters? What gives you that inner spark? Having that sense of purpose, whether it feels big or small, acts like an anchor in life, doesn't it? It provides direction. It fuels our resilience when we face challenges, and goodness knows, life always brings challenges. And it truly nourishes our spirit. It keeps us looking forward, engaged with life, rather than just letting the days drift by. When we feel connected to something meaningful, something larger than just our day-to-day routine, it has a profound effect on our overall well-being, emotional, mental, and even physical. It helps ward off those feelings of emptiness or apathy that can sometimes creep in. Discovering or rediscovering that purpose might take some quiet reflection. Asking ourselves, what truly matters to me at this stage? What activities bring me genuine joy or satisfaction? How can I contribute my unique gifts or experiences? It's a very personal exploration, but having that why, that deep-seated reason for being that resonates within you, is incredibly powerful. It's a cornerstone of living not just a longer life, but a truly rich, fulfilling, and vibrant one, all the way through. So, that brings us to the end of our little chat today. 5 thoughts on not just adding years to our life, but real life to our years. It really does seem to boil down to the choices we make each day, doesn't it? Like choosing to stay curious, maybe finally picking up that paintbrush you've always thought about, or borrowing a different kind of book from the library next time. Choosing to keep moving, perhaps committing to that morning stretch routine, or joining friends for that walk in the park, even when the sofa looks tempting. These don't have to be huge things. Why not pick just one small idea, one little example that resonated with you today, and give it a gentle try? What examples keep you feeling vibrant? We would genuinely love to hear them. Share one thing you do in the comments below. Let's all inspire each other. And of course, if you enjoyed our chat, a thumbs up and subscribing would be lovely. Stay well, take good care, and I'll look forward to seeing you again soon.